everybody. 20th of May, Tuesday afternoon, 2 o'clock. That means tile, of course. I'm going to get straight in there today with it because I'm sure, just like me, we've got lots to do, lots to be getting on with. And it's a beautiful day, so let's see what we're going to create. I have started with a white tile and I've inked around it, which is something unusual with black ink. There's a little bit of a hint of my old abstract background stencil in the background, but that just sort of gives it a little bit of a sort of like a washed feeling in the background. You could do that if you like, or you can leave it completely blank and do your own thing. So here we go, straight in with pencil, I think. And I want to create a little bit of a swirl. So some of us out there like drawing swirls from the outside going in. Some of us from the inside going out. It really doesn't matter here because we're going to kind of end up with a similar result. Now, it doesn't matter the fact that, you know, if you decide you want to go a different way than me. So this is facing or going anti-clockwise. You can do it clockwise. It doesn't matter. And notice as well, it's sketching this a little bit. It's not too narrow because I want to be putting, you know, different bits and pieces in there. Sort of kind of putting a piece of, you know, a line down to start with and then coming around and creating this sort of, there we go, bit of a line. When it sort of goes out, I'm going to leave it there. So I've got that. Do I want to go a little bit wider? No, I don't. I'm going to leave it at that, but I want to round that bit off there. See? Like that. Okay, happy with that. So let's have a look at the inside. I'm going to come in a little bit. And where it's sort of stopped here, I want to create a bit of a bubble there, like so. And then across the top, see where it sort of wants to go somewhere else. So I'm going to put a little bend in it like that. And then I'm coming around. But you see, I'm making it a little bit wider as I come round, like so. And follow that round. I'm going to sort of keep it a similar thickness all the way around. So I'm just looking at the line that I've already drawn and following it along. And when I get to sort of the end here, I'm going to sort of bring it out a little bit like that. Okay, so far so good. All right, let's just get rid of that little bit there so we can see where our lines are. Okay, so far so good. So I'm going to switch to pen now, and I'm going to start in the middle with that bubble there. Let's go in a little bit more. And I'm going to start by, let's have a look, putting a bubble inside it. And then next to it maybe a square. I'll put a little circle, a bubble there, and triangle, or about an oval, and maybe a longer piece. And I think this is about holding your nerve, you know, just taking your time with this and filling in those spaces. See, I've got a couple little gaps there I can fill with bubbles. Let's put a triangle in and fill it with little shapes as we go. Now the trick to this is you don't want to make these shapes too big. You want to keep little sections going. So maybe I want to do like a long lozenge shape. And then I can get a triangle in there, look. I'm not trying to completely, you know, fill all the gaps straight away. You know, put some shapes in. Put another lozenge shape there, look. And then I can go back, look, and fill it with smaller shapes. Let's just sort of keep it going. And it's quite tempting, isn't it, to get a little bit bigger as you're working your way around. Well, you know, hold your nerve with it. Keep them similar sizes. a little bit bigger in some places, but for the most part, I want to try and keep it if we can. Right into there. So just keep adding shapes. See, I've got a few too many sort of straight edges there, so change the shape of it. I'm just going to keep following it round. And let's put a triangle there. Into that bit. Just kind of adding little bubbles as I go, maybe. Yeah, just sort of following through. Thank you, John. Cup of tea time. Thank you.
Just after brownie points.
Oh dear. There's always a reason behind. Have a look. Oh. There you go. Just turning that round a little bit there. And sort of see how it builds. Rose. Where's Lynn when, you know, she used to be the one. There are a few new bits and pieces. Gosh, what day is it? Yeah, Thursday. You know, it's John and I's anniversary as well on Thursday. So hopefully we'll get out for a meal or something this weekend. And I want to go to the cinema, you know, Mission Impossible's on. So maybe we'll get time to do that. Of course, I'm on Crafters TV tomorrow, so it's all busy. But yeah, there are a couple of new things. There's one thing you've possibly seen before, but it's in a different sort of format. I do have folders coming. They're not going to be on this show, but we've sorted out the shipping for those today. So if you've not got a Crafty Planner folder, there's new colours coming. And gosh, what else? Oh, I've got a new silhouette design. And that's sort of linked in with a large bundle that I did recently with lots of different really bright pieces of artwork. Sneaky hint there. And there's a new stencil and I really love it. Got really carried away, so there's quite a lot of shapes in there, but I think you're going to love it too. Okay. So you see, I'm still going with this. I'm still adding those little bits in. I mean, there's nothing stopping you doing all of this in bubbles. But where's the fun in that? You know, you want to change things around a little bit. And of course, because we're working really small, you know, don't forget, now and again, just to sort of take your hand off your pen for a moment. You can get really sort of involved with it. Before you know it, you get a bit of a wrist ache. You don't want that. So, you know, just be aware of that. Sometimes you've got to have a bit of a chill and take your hand off the page for a moment. Look at that. So let's move out a little bit. You see how when they all sort of sit together, they look a little bit different, don't they? Let's put some bubbles and things in there as well. I'm not really sort of giving it much thought in terms of what shapes to put in. I'm just trying to mix and match them together. So you've got something to work to. And let's go bubble in there. Oh, now see here, look, you can see where it's sort of, it's a nice shape. Then see it's sort of gone a bit flat there. Let me just have a look at that. I think it's a little bit noticeable when you do this. So, and again, tempting, isn't it, to put loads of bubbles in to fill it, but I'm going to come in with different shapes. Just want to make sure that I'm covering that little area as well. That's better, look. And there we go. Can continue with what we're doing here. And sort of oval that off. So I'm keeping true to the shape that I've drawn here, but you know, not so much that I'm drawing the line around it. You just want to do whatever's going in there. Just keeping it going. Again, you don't think you've got to fill every single little space with a bubble. You've got other shapes now you can use. And it sort of gives you options, doesn't it? Into those bits. That was almost a curved triangle shape there. That would have been okay. Again, you know, just keep your nerve with it. Don't think, oh, I've got to go bigger. Just keep it going. Different shapes. Filling it in. This would look nice in different colours as well, wouldn't it? You know? You could, I don't know, go bubbles first and leave gaps and then go in with a different colour with the squares. Or I suppose you could do it on a black tile with a white pen. That would look really nice. Okay, so we're kind of, it's almost like a path, isn't it? We're just sort of getting towards the end of it now, looking at where we're going. So we've got to make a decision as to what we're doing. Do we want it to go completely off the tile? Or do we want to sort of see it start to break up? And that, in one sense, not tricky as such. It's just about starting to leave little gaps in things. So they sort of look like they're there, but then they've started, it's almost like a massive traffic jam, and then the cars start to sort of filter through. And you get these lovely little spurs, sporadic like movements, and then they start to all break away. See, I'm coming completely now out of the shape there. And following it through. See, they're quite small now as well. I've really sort of gone a lot smaller to the effect that they're breaking up there. Let's just have a little look at that. Okay, all right. So I think what I'm going to do now, I want to make sure that it's dry, so a quick sip of tea. And I'm going to remove the swirl or the pencil line that represented the swirl, because I just want those shapes. Okay, just gonna take a bit off there. See, because just sometimes, you know, with certain inks, when you rub out, you find that the ink will rub out as well. So just brush the rubber over that. It's just giving it a little bit of a extra bit there. Okay. Oh, got a bit there, like that. So back in with pen, and I'm going to sort of start. I'm going to start here. Actually, let's go back in with pencil. I'm just going to put my lid on my pen for a minute. So I'm on the outer edge. So I'm going to put myself a line, and this is just a guide. And then another. And I'm going to move my tile as I'm going. And so these lines are kind of vertical with me, because each time I move the tile, that's the kind of position it's in. And it's going to come round, put these little lines in. Now you notice when I get to the corners, because there's a bit more space there, I can come in easily and add an extra length or extend the lines a little bit. Now here, look, because I'm coming almost to that bit where it kind of broke free, I'm going to come in a little bit smaller, see, because what I want to do is to start the pathway going inside those gaps. so it's a little bit smaller. Again, just keep turning, because I do want it kind of to feel a little bit spirally. There you go, see, and keep it going. Again, you just got to hold your nerve with this and follow the process. Yeah, not doing anything crazy. You see, we've got that going on. So I'm going to put myself a little line here just to give me a little bit of a hand, because I want to put a little word in there. Is that straight? Probably not. It looks it. Maybe there. So, okay, back to pen. And I think I'm going to put the word in there first. It's got a lot of these lines. I want to come in with, I think a word for me today is, I'm going to put shine in there. Because we've got these sort of little lines coming out. I'm going to put an exclamation mark as well, because I mean it. Go. And all right, I'm going to start with one of these larger shapes, because I'm going to use those lines to help me. And I'm going to put a range of bubbles. Now notice the first one is the largest, and then they kind of go off to dots. Let's have a little look at that. There we go. So, I don't know whether you want to do those first, because they're kind of the same size. And notice, look, I'm going around them twice. It's just redefining that shape and making sure it's as round as I can make it. Just makes life easy. You don't have to. I'm going to do a small one there because it sort of fits in with there, see? All the way around. So let's do that with the others. Each one. A couple of times. You just follow it round. You see how it makes that sort of little shape nice and round? Just by doing that a couple of times rather than once. I think it slows you down a bit as well, so you're not sort of just rushing to get it done. You're enjoying drawing them. And although they're individual from the swirl, they kind of fit in. Now as I get a little bit further down, look, they've got a little bit smaller. And we're going to continue that as I work my way around. And into there. Okay. All right. So let's go back to this one here. I can now, I'm not going to make it the same on purpose, because if we do that, we just stress ourselves out trying to get it right. And unless you actually physically measure it or use one of the frame stencils, we're never going to do it. So let's not try. So each one, look, has got its own individual little feel to it. They're all different. And I just want to enjoy creating those little shapes. Nothing crazy to them, see? So, however many you want to put in there. It's nice to sort of not think about that, I think. And, you know, don't look at the last one. Don't sort of think, oh, it's got 6 or 7 there and I've got to do the same. It doesn't have to be that way. They're all kind of going to work together. Okay. See? Let's have a little look at that. Okay, so let's carry that on, shall we? I'm going to work my way around this way now, and then I definitely can't see what I did before. I just want to make sure that they're not even. Otherwise, if I do some even and some not, it'll look a bit. Now here, look, I'm going to do a couple just little dots. I just want to Make sure I've got something going on there, but I don't want it to go over those. Oh, that word. See, that feels like it needs to go that way a bit. You can change it. That guide's only in pencil. And then, of course, as I get sort of to this little bit here, it's going to sort of filter in with everything else that's going on there in that bit. So it works its way around and along. See, it just sort of sits there nicely, doesn't it? And because we started with the bigger pieces first, this is a little bit of a walk in the park now, isn't it? We've got a few little sections going on there. And, you know, you've got to be thinking, why are you doing this? Are you going to put some colour on it? Or are you going to leave it? Are you going to just shade it? I think I'm going to choose something and add a pop of colour into it. Well, I think first I'm going to get rid of that pencil mark. The thing with dots, though, what you find is they will take a little bit longer to dry. Again, look, because I've got that ink in the background there, I don't want to sort of remove it all, so I'm just sort of gently pushing the rubber out. So all I've got left is those little marks. There's no pencil lines joining them, they're just dots. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to come in with a little, I think it's got to be a yellow, hasn't it? So let's have a look. Well, I've got mid-orange and a bit of citrus yellow. So I'm gonna choose the bubbles. I'm gonna pick on some of those. Not all, just a few. So with this, I'm kind of putting just a little. Hang on a second. If we move it up, I get a little hint of colour in. This is kind of the edge. Even on some of those. So this is my darkest colour. See, this is the mid-orange. I'm not going for every one. I'll for sure miss one if I go for every one, so that's okay. I'm gonna put a few in there. Okay. And let's come back in with that citrus. Go around it. They're so small, I'm not going to try and blend it anymore. I'm just going to put a little bit of colour in there. Don't need the white or anything. Got a couple of colours there and that's fine. I'm just going over the top of them really. Like so. Okay. Let's go back out and have a look at that. Okay, so I think I'm going to bring in let's have a look, a bit of clementine. And just have a hint of that, you know, on the first sort of dots all the way around the edge. I'm not trying to colour them in particular, I'm just adding a little bit of colour there. But, you know, not to the point that I'm trying to colour everything in. It's almost like a little dot of colour. Just not even going to worry about them there. Redefining that edge a little bit. Sometimes you have to kind of do that. Okay. All right. So I'm going back in with my 2B pencil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on the outer edge. So I'm kind of drawing that swirl back in. See, I'm sort of adding a bit more graphite all the way around. Okay, get to the edge, I'm going to just sort of ease it off out in the distance. So let's use that tortillon and I'm going to come in and swirl that round. Just nice and gentle like. I don't want it to move too far. Just a little bit, see? Okay. Smoothing it away. In and along we go. So it sort of gives a nice little bit of shadow there. But yeah, it's not sort of taking over. And then as I get to the end, I'm just going to kind of push it out. Okay, so back in with pencil. And this time I'm going to go on the shapes. So I'm sort of on the inside of that swirl now. So I'm going to go in a little bit heavier. And if there's any of those that have already got colour in, they're still going to go. I'm still going to go over it. And kind of keep that going. And I'm going to go on the inside on the other side as well. So remember when we coloured those little dots in, it really helped to sort of define where the edge was. It's easy to pick up. And again, even if I've coloured some in, I'm still going to go on top of those. Around. I'm not going to go all the way in there, I'm just going to sort of go to there. And Tortillon again. Let's clean that up a bit. Now I'm not going to swirl this time because I don't want it to go completely in the middle. I want to almost sort of just define that edge. Same on this side, and I want to definitely leave a gap in the middle. And sort of keep it going. Ooh. So you see the difference. This is, you know, I'm not going as far, and it's quite heavy. Well, that's what we want. Lovely sort of shade going on in there. I know we've covered up some of that lovely yellow, but we needed to do that. Okay. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of black pencil. And on the inside, sort of from about here, I just want to sort of give it a little bit of definition. So following it round, I'm not going to press on too much, I just want it to sort of blend in with what I've already got there. Just making it a little bit darker. See how it just sort of comes along. And similar on the outside, not as heavy though. I just want it to blend in along with the graphite there. Okay. So just nice to sort of see how that works in the middle there. A bit of a swirl going on. So it would look nice actually with, you know, a little bit of sparkly on there. I don't have a gel pen up here with me, but you know, it would look nice to do that kind of thing. But I'm not going to do that with this one. I'm going to kind of just leave it as is and sign it off. So let's put that down here. And there we go. So tile for the day, a little bit different as always, a little bit unusual. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you're going to have a go and post it. Let me know how you get on. So, all right, everybody. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever it is you're doing. Take care, and I will see you. Goodness me. Say hi if you're on Crafters tomorrow. If not, you know, send your pictures into Hobby Maker on Thursday. And other than that, I'll see you back here for our next tile on Friday afternoon. Okay, bye.